What's going on? This is your man John Fortune, your host of the Frustrated Fan Sports Show, and today is my review where I let you guys ask me which people you wanted me to review. I had a lot of people that asked me stuff, people outside of Facebook, some of my neighbors. Everybody wants to know what my evaluation of some of these guys, especially some of the guys that are marked to Washington. Again, I haven't really looked at a lot of mock drafts. I've seen the ones from NFL Network when they scroll across the bottom of the screen, but other than that, I don't really see much of anything. So I'm going to break it. I'm going to start off from the beginning. So I'm going to start off with Aaron Stay Woke. He asked me about Anthony Richardson, the quarterback from Florida. There was a second comment on there said that he's Vince Young with less gifts, and Vince Young sucked in the NFL. Anthony Richardson, first off, I'll say this: he's not Vince Young. Talent-wise, he's not as good as Vince Young. Intelligence-wise, he's better than Vince Young. And the reason why I say that is because he actually can read a defense. He actually understands a route tree. He also he can have multiple routes and actually read through his routes. Anthony Richardson's biggest problem is that he's insanely inaccurate. And for him to be any good in the NFL, he's going to need a defense just similar to what Lamar Jackson had, where it's basically him and maybe two tight ends or maybe one wide receiver, but he can read defenses. It's just that when he throws the ball, he's just off. I mean, he's completely off. And it's shocking at how inaccurate he is, because it's not like he's inaccurate and the coverage is really tight, or he's inaccurate because he's trying to get the ball into a tight window, or he's trying to force a ball or anything like that. He's inaccurate on wide open passes. And it's so sad to know that he's that inaccurate when it comes to throwing the ball. And it shocks me to no end that the fact that a lot of people want him, it does make sense. But again, that's a developmental project. Like, if they want the best out of him, he's going to have to be a guy that goes to a team that doesn't mind taking time to develop him. So that means he would have to go to a quarterback guru, somebody like Nick Sirianni, somebody who's going to give him time to develop. Frank Wright, Doug Peterson, Andy Reid. He's going to have to go somewhere where they don't mind developing him and taking time to develop him, because, like I said, he's insanely inaccurate. And I mean, he can make it in the NFL. Don't get me wrong. He can make it in the NFL. But his accuracy, he has to get that up, because, like I said, he's viciously inaccurate. And it's pretty sad to me. But, yeah, he's really inaccurate. The next comment is from Walter McKee. Now, Walter, you had like 11 dudes on this joint, so I'm going to be fair, and I actually evaluated 5 guys for you. Well, I evaluated 3. 2 guys I couldn't find anything on, because I really wanted to show that I do look at the film and I look at small schools. So the first guy that you put up there was Cody Mock, the North Dakota State left tackle. It's funny that you gave me the Senior Bowl to look at another guy, and Cody Mock was in the Senior Bowl. But I'm going to tell you what my evaluation of Cody Mock was before I looked at the Senior Bowl. So my evaluation was solid in pass protection, good job with keeping hands active to combat counter moves, okay, not good run, not good run blocking, possibly the scheme, and then last but not least, can be caught standing straight up, will move to guard. It was so funny that I wrote that down. Then when I was going to evaluate your other guy, another guy that you had on this list, Cody Mock was in the Senior Bowl and he was playing guard. And I knew it because Cody Mock, and this is just me being honest, long term, he's like, guard is his spot. He's not going to be a tackle in the NFL because there's a lot of things about him that is good. Like I said, he's very solid in pass protection. He does a really good job in pass protection. He's okay, but not good at run blocking. And the reason why I said possibly the scheme is because there were a lot of times on running plays where he was blocking to the inside for no reason at all. So I'm not certain if they were telling him, like if they coached him to do that, but it was just very, very strange. But there was also times where guys would bull rush into him and he was just like eliminated. And understand this, there's a lot of guys in the NFL that do this bull rush that is just crazy. Now, again, like I said, his hands stay active, so it helps him out with the counter move, which is why moving him to guard is probably a better fit for him long term. So again, Cody Mock, he's a very good player, but understand, he won't be a tackle. He'll be a guard in the NFL. The next guy I evaluated for you, Walter, was Sidney Brown. Sidney Brown was, again, I was able to evaluate him along with Devin Witherspoon as well. And y'all already know about how I feel about Devin Witherspoon. So with Sidney Brown, I got down here, good in man coverage, excellent tackler, can't recover once beaten on routes, tries to anticipate routes too often. So what that means is this. What he does is that there's a lot of times where he will sneak over to a side because he think he knows what route is coming, and then when he gets beat, it's almost impossible for him to recover because he's now found out he made a mistake paying attention to a route that wasn't even there for him. So there's a lot of that when it comes to him. Pass defense will be a problem for him. But if you move him down into the box, trust and believe he will be an excellent safety. Like I said, he's very good in man coverage, which means that if tight ends run out, anybody run across the middle, even if it's a running back, he got them. He can cover them. It's not a problem with that. Like I said, his thing is when he's back deep and then all of a sudden he's trying to make plays, or he's trying to anticipate what the play is going to be before it even happens. And there's been a lot of times where he's gotten really beat by that. And like I said, his recovery speed is not there. He's not able to recover once he's beaten on a route. So to be quite honest, man, I mean, Sidney Brown is good, but for some teams, he might be a good fit for them. But I'm not certain, I'm not certain if you're a Washington fan, but again, like I said, Sidney Brown, he will be a very good box safety, maybe even a very good Buffalo safety, or Buffalo nickel player. But again, in coverage, he's a liability. Next is your guy, Gottlieb. I think his name is Adize. If I'm wrong, let me know, but I think his last name is Adize. I wrote this down for him because I saw some tape of him, and to be quite honest, I like this guy. I like this guy a lot out of Frostburg State University. I wrote down here he's a swing tackle, which is good. Positional flex is very good when it comes to the NFL, especially if you need a guy to swing from the right to the left and still be able to hold his own. From the film I saw of him, he does a fantastic job of that. I got down here, attacking style and run plays, does not hide from contact. Like, understand this guy's very aggressive when it comes to blocking. And if this a run play, he's running out there to find somebody to destroy or get out the way so the running back can make a play or run behind him or whatever. So I love his style. He also has that attacking style when it comes to the passing players for the passing game as well. I also wrote down here, exceptional in pass blocking. He's very, very good. Now, here's the downside. He's actually going to be transferring from Frostburg State to Maryland. He's not coming out in this draft this year, because and rightfully so, because I do feel that it put it like this: with him transferring to Maryland, he'll be facing that Big Ten talent, which will be really, really good for him. If he plays good, he's going to be a first round pick, in next year's draft. If he dominates in the Big Ten, he will be the #1 tackle off the board. Because, like I said, he has all the traits you need in an offensive lineman, especially a tackle. And the fact that he's a swing tackle, and like I said, even with him swinging from left to right, there were times where you would see the running play go left when he was on the left, and then when he was on the right, it would go right. So again, he's a very good prospect down the line, but he's transferring to Maryland, so we won't see him in this upcoming draft. But like I said, if he's only good, he's going to be a first round pick. If at any point he becomes the top guy and he dominates the Big Ten, he will be the #1 tackle in the upcoming draft. The next guy you had down here was Joshua Pryor out of Bowie State. I can't find no film of this guy. And the film that I did find, it looks like home video. It's grainy. And because they wear, like, there's times where they wear these white jerseys with the yellow numbers, you can't make out all the numbers. So I think there was one situation where I saw a guy and I thought it was him, but it was actually number 8 or number 9. And that's pretty much what I had to deal with the whole time. So to be quite honest, Joshua Pryor, I couldn't find no real tape on him. The last guy I'm going to do, again, another small school guy, was Quentin Barrow. That was the offensive lineman. Out of Grand Valley State. Again, he's a guy that's actually really, really good. The problem is that the tape that I found of him is, one was from 2019 when he was a redshirt freshman, and the other one was from 2021. So I can't find any recent film on him. He does look good. He's a very big guy, and he does look good in some of the stuff that I saw, but I can't find the competition when it comes to him. I mean, the 2019 film, I'm assuming, I'm not really certain, I guess Ferris State is like like almost like the Patriots or something, of the CIAA. But the film that I did see, he does seem like he's a really good player. He did not play in the East-West Shrine Bowl game, because I know that's what you gave me as a reference, but I didn't see him in there. Like, his number was, he was supposed to be number 72 during the whole game. I only saw number 70 and number 74, 70, and 71. Those were the only guys I saw, and he was supposed to be number 72, and I didn't see him play, so I can't even give him a fair assessment. So those were your guys. So again, like I said, Cody Mock, I was dead on about the evaluation of him, because I didn't look at the Senior Bowl this year, and it wasn't until I was looking for Gottlieb Adize that I looked at the Senior Bowl, and that was why my evaluation of Cody Mock, I felt it was spot on, because I was excited to see that when I looked at the Senior Bowl, he was in fact playing guard. So that was a big thing. And like I said, Sidney Brown, he's up in the box safety that can cover. Might be a good nickel corner. I mean, a Buffalo nickel. But other than that, he's not that solid in pass coverage. So that's what that is. The next one is from my man Benjamin Norris. He wanted to find out about Jake Bobo because he's a big UCLA fan. So Jake Bobo, I'll say this. Jake Bobo is what you see is exactly what you get with Jake Bobo. He's a great receiving tight end. I mean, this guy can catch everything. There's times where he's lined up as a wide receiver. In the Shrine Bowl game, again, I saw him go out as a receiver. That's what he is. He's a very good receiving tight end. He does not help in the blocking game at all. I'm not Benjamin. I'm not certain if you're a Washington fan, but again, we got players that are similar to Jake Bobo already. Cole Turner is the same way. He's the exact same way as Jake Bobo. He's not going to give you a lot in the blocking game, but he'll give you a lot in the passing game. So again, Jake Bobo, like I said, what you see is what you get out of Jake Bobo. He is in fact a really good receiving tight end, but he's not going to give you nothing in the blocking game. So that's my assessment of Jake Bobo. Like I said, that doesn't mean he's not a good player. It's just he's not going to block. He's not going to block. He's definitely good at, and I also say this, he's also a very good route runner. Like, he does a fantastic job with finding the holes in defenses. Like, there was one play that I saw where he caught it on the sidelines. And again, that was because he found a hole. And his quarterback, Darius Thompson, he does a fantastic job finding them as well. But again, like I said, Jake Bobo, he is what he is. What you see is what you get out of Jake Bobo. He's a receiving tight end. He's worthy of somebody's draft pick, but he is a receiving tight end. The next guy that I'm going to talk about is somebody a couple of my neighbors asked me about, and that was Will Levis. I know when I start saying this, some of y'all going to be like, John, you might have just had a bunch of overload from this player. Will Levis, in my opinion, reminds me a whole lot of Carson Wentz. And I know a lot. I know I just hurt a lot of people's feelings right there. But he reminds me a whole lot of Carson Wentz. A whole lot. Like, there's times where you see him and it's like if the pocket is perfect, he's spot on, he's accurate, he doesn't make a mistake, all types of stuff. That pocket gets muddy or that pocket breaks down or whatever, he starts to make mistakes. He'll throw picks. He'll throw all types of picks. He'll take unnecessary sacks. And he'll sit up there and you the whole time you're watching him play, you're like, why would you do that? I'll give you an example. The first 3 games of the season, I ain't talking about all, the first 3 games of the season, game number 1 was against Tennessee. And the deal with Tennessee is that Tennessee actually had, I think, they were ranked like the worst passing defense in all of college football. Will Levis had 3 interceptions in that game and 0 touchdowns. He also had 4 sacks. So he was looking bad. He comes back in the second game, which I think was against Missouri. They won that game. He threw for 3 touchdowns. He had no interceptions, but he had 6 sacks. And then the third game, I can't remember who the third game was. But I think in that game, I think he had 1 touchdown, either 1 touchdown or 2 touchdowns, 1 interception, and another 4 sacks. So you're talking about during that time period, he had 5, I think it was like 5 touchdowns, 5 touchdowns, I think it was 4 interceptions, and 14 sacks. He had taken 14 sacks. So I'm telling y'all, as much as a lot of y'all like Will Levis, he's not as good as people want him to be. So I'm going to tell y'all, I mean, maybe he can go somewhere and not become Carson Wentz. But from looking at his film, he looks like Carson Wentz. If you don't got that run game going, his running back was Rodriguez. If you don't got that run game going, he will not play well at all. So, like I said again, Will Levis, he just reminds me of Carson Wentz. I don't understand why he's rated so high, but like I said, he just reminds me of Carson Wentz. The other guy that I was asked about was Christian Gonzalez. Now, when I heard Christian Gonzalez, I saw Oregon, and I was like, Christian Gonzalez from Oregon? The only Christian Gonzalez I know is from Colorado. And coming to find out, that is the Christian Gonzalez. From some of the stuff that I saw, like I said, saw the mock draft scrolling across the bottom on NFL Network. The fact that Christian Gonzalez is considered one of the top cornerbacks in this draft is absolutely mind-boggling. He, in my opinion, his technique is so bad that I don't even understand what people really see in him. Now, I get that the draft is about potential, but I don't see what people see in this guy, because I look at, when I look at his film, there's a lot of things that bother me a lot. Like, one, when he does inside technique, he's actually standing like on the inside of the wide receiver. So to me, I think that if he goes up against like craftier wide receivers or guys who know how to like run routes, prime examples like a guy like AJ Brown. If he goes up against a guy like that, he's going to get himself roasted, man. I mean, it's so crazy at how his technique is so off. Then when you're talking about his bailing technique, I mean, his bailing technique looks like he's waiting for the wide receiver to pass him the baton so he can run to the end zone. I mean, it's so crazy that people actually think that this guy is the third best wide receiver. I mean, the third or second or whatever they think he is. The fact that I think they think he's the third best corner in this draft. He's not that good. Like, he's really not that good. And I was absolutely floored by his tape, because I could not believe that people rated him so high. Not only that, he didn't face no real competition this year playing at Oregon. Oregon didn't play a lot of top-level teams that had standout receivers this year. I think the only ones that they played was maybe, I think they played Michigan State. No. I think they played Stanford, who has two guys, but again, they weren't the standard. And I think they also played Georgia. And Georgia really didn't have wide receivers either. So, I mean, the fact that he didn't really face any competition, and the fact that his technique is so bad, I'm absolutely surprised that this guy's rated so high. I'll also include this one as well. Joey Porter Jr., I'm surprised that he's not as good as he is. And understand, he's facing Big Ten talent. Marvin Harrison Jr. was crushing him. And there were a couple plays where I'm just sitting there and I'm like, man, I don't know. Emmanuel Forbes is a better player than both of those guys. So I mean, I'm amazed. I'm absolutely amazed at this cornerback draft. Like I said, to me, it's Devin Witherspoon and everybody else. So again, like I said, those were my evaluations of guys that people asked me to evaluate. Y'all tell me what y'all think. If there's some other guys you want me to evaluate, let me know. Other than that, this has been your man John Fortune, and this has been the Frustrated Fan Sports Show.